Hello everyone. Okay, we're in repair mode here. This is a PlayStation 3, my brother's. It's the same as the one I've got, the 160GB model. Now I think he was changing the battery because it wasn't keeping the date and the time on the motherboard, the 2032 battery. But in the process, he's damaged some of the ribbon cables. If you look, you can see the damage. It's on this one. Just put my glasses on. So I said, he gave it me and said, see if you can do anything. And he's now bought a PlayStation 3, the Super Slim. See the damage there, can't you? See, that end should look like that end there. And that's the end that's damaged. I've already replaced that ribbon cable in the disk drive. That's where it's from, the disk drive. But this is also a damaged cable. That's how it should be. But if you look at this end, there's 9.5 pins instead of 10. So I've got a new one. As you can see, there should be 10 pins on either end. In fact, there's 2 of them in here. They sold them in batches of 2. It was only £7 for 2, so it's always good to have a spare. Because none of this is working. So I'm hoping it's that ribbon cable that's got that damaged contact on it. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is put this new ribbon cable in. You've got to be very careful with these, and that's why I thought film it, because they're very easily damaged. You never try and force them in. If you're struggling to get it in, just take a bit of a breather, go back to it, because you can't force them. You've got to slide in. See, there's 10 contacts there, and they goes into that there. And you have to make sure you have it the right way. If you look, you might not be able to see in the camera, but the contacts are on this side here. So if you was to put it in with the contacts on that side, it's not going to make a contact. You've got to make sure you put it in correctly. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that get a standby light. If we get a standby light, we know This is, see, none of these work. But if we get a standby light, they should all work. Then it means it's getting the power. Because although there's no disk drive in it, you should still get a standby light. You should always get a standby light. Now the disk drive, what I had to do here, there's a locking tab which locks this. This goes into the actual disk drive. It's for the laser, and the locking tab keeps this locked in here. But this locking tab is, I don't know what's happened, but it's not locking. So this is coming out. So what I've done, I've just put some hot glue there, hopefully to try and keep this in. It looks in a bit of a mess as well, this cable. He's obviously been, he told me he was struggling to get this in. It could be damaged. We won't know that till we put the disk drive in and see, because I might have to buy another, replace this cable if it is damaged, and I hope that hot glue keeps it, because when the laser runs, it actually tugs on this. I'll show you that when we put the disk drive in. So I'm going to need 2 hands to do this, and put this, wait a minute, get this cable out. I would love to film me putting this in. I'm going to need 2 hands to put this in. So this has to go in that way. So these contacts face the contacts on that. See, if you was to put it in that way, none of the contacts are going to, it's just going to be dead. So it goes in that way. So this is gonna zoom in. Yeah, I don't think you're not really going to be able to actually. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to best I can do. Okay, so I'm going to fit this in here. So that's in. And then this end connects to this. There's the connection. There. So let's get that done. What I had to do, I had to take it out of the board, put it in that's a more awkward one. That's in now. And now I'll reconnect this to the board. Okay, connected both ends. So we're looking for now a standby light. Let's plug it in. Yes, we've got a standby light, see? Just there. So this is now functional. Excellent. So it's just a disk drive now. Let's put this down. Okay. So we can start putting the disk drive in. Whatever. I'm going to put some under that. Okay. Okay, so that, now you see when this laser moves, see how it drags on that ribbon, and that's why that locking tab's important on the motherboard. So I'm hoping that holds it, and as long as the ribbon cable's not damaged. So what I'm going to do now is fit this in proper. there. There we go. Right. So what I've done is screw the gazer and screw the gazer. That's now locked in place. There is also one at the back here, which is missing, so I'm going to have to find. But I need to connect these cables now, these ribbon cables here at the back. There's 3 of them. So that's next. Okay, very fiddly, but they're all in now. This one was being awkward, so I just took my time with it, because that's the one that my brother damaged when he was trying to, well, force it in, I would imagine. So needs to happen now. We need to reconnect the power supply. You have to take the power supply out to connect these, because the power supply covers all this. Then we can test the drive. So I'll just put the power supply back in. Right, that's the power supply in. There's a connection there, and then there's two screws that go in there, but I'm not going to put them in until we see what happens. But we definitely know this is going to work now. So we'd have eject, power, because they weren't working at all and there was no standby light, and that's because that one contact at the end, you see there's half of it left, the obviously wasn't making contact, so there has to be 10 there, 10 there. Some PlayStation 3s have 6, but this particular model has a 10 pin ribbon cable. I've got the top for this, but we don't need to fit that just yet. Here it is. There are two screws that go in just there, which hold this down at that end. You see you've got the two in there, and you put the cover on, and then there's two there, but yeah. Let's put the TV on. Well, first of all, let's plug this PlayStation in. We should get the standby light. And we have. Don't know if that shows up on the camera. Put the TV. Hopefully it's on the correct, because I've got the HDMI cable plugged in there at the back. This is on the correct HDMI 1. Right. Green light. Fans going. We're getting PlayStation.
Box.
I'm going to just get my PlayStation controller that I have. And the controller's working. That's my brother John. What I will do is, of course, I'll reset this back to how it was when. Right, so now it's just the disk drive, innit? Let's put a, first of all, let's put a DVD in. See, should have had all this ready, shouldn't I? Well, I'm glad this panel's working. Your jet button works, the power works, your standby light. This is what concerns me now, is the actual disk drive. I don't know whether this is going to play ball. But I've got the DVD Snow White and the Huntsman. So if I was to slip this in here, it should. No, it's not spinning. It's gone in, but it's not spinning. It's not ejecting. So something's amiss there, isn't it? Motor's running. Unscrew that again. Right, let's get these screws in. See, I don't know if he's fiddled about with any of this. That's not right, is it? That's correct. How does that catch on the... Should be a spring there. Take this out. Back. I would have thought that went on there. This. How does it trap? See, obviously you put your... Hang on a minute. Oh, it don't go that way, does it? No. No. Bit confused there. Why is it stopping there? See, I don't know what he's done, whether he's had this apart. What on earth is it catching on? That's correct. Motor's working. Is it catching on? That should go in. So that's going to line it up with this. Let's just see if this laser moves. Let's push it back. These arms are correct, aren't they? There's nothing catching it there. It's going through. That's correct, that's in its right place. Hang on a minute. Yeah, that's it. Put them in. But for some reason it's stopping. It stops there. The laser's moved. That's good news. What is stopping it? I'm going to have to look at this proper. I think that's improper, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know how that works. It seems to. There's something missing there. I don't think there is there? Now we're on with that. Is it catching on that? There's a gap there. Not spinning though, is it? Laser's moved. I did clean the lenses, by the way. That's there, that's definitely moving. I cleaned it with the isopropyl alcohol. Don't use anything else. 99.9%. Right, so the laser's there. Okay. Yeah. That laser now should have moved. Here you go, the laser's moved. Yeah. That doesn't seem right, that. I could look at mine. Means taking mine apart. Right, I'll just have a bit of a break, get back to this. But at least we have, you see, got the green light, fan spinning. It is just the drive now. We've got the PlayStation on. So I'll just have a pause. Right, we're getting somewhere. What happens is this just slips in the top here. This. And it just goes in there. Like that. Now it will take a disc and it will eject. Takes it in, but it's not spinning, so I think that ribbon cable is damaged. It will eject as well, watch. So I'm going to have to order one of them ribbon cables. It did look a bit of a mess. I wasn't quite happy with it, but I thought I'd try it because if it wasn't obviously damaged, I could have put up with it, but I didn't like the look of it. So that's 3 ribbon cables is damaged. So, like I say, the PlayStation's fine, that's on. It's taking disc, it's ejecting disc, just not spinning. So part of that ribbon cable, which obviously spins the disc, must be just not doing it. So that's how that goes back, and then this just slips over the top of it, and it's just one screw there, and then one there, and that just screws down onto that then. So that's straightforward. I managed to find a screw for the back of this. You can't see it because it's under the power supply. So that was a, see, I was putting that on first, but obviously it goes on after you've fitted this. It just slots in there like that. Okay, so I'll order a ribbon cable and I'll carry on with the video then. We'll see how we get on. Okay.